Hello and welcome, Janet Beckers here. Have you ever found yourself in this situation where you're in one business opportunity and then you look at something else and you think, oh, that looks so much better. That is a much better opportunity, a much better business model, a much better niche, so much more of a better opportunity, much better than I am here. So I'm going to flick over to that one. And then I might flick over to this one here later on because that one looks really good. If you've ever found yourself jumping from one opportunity to another with like the bright, shiny object syndrome, today's really going to help you. Or if you haven't flitted, but you have this niggling feeling that, you know what, this is not the best niche, the best business, the best whatever it is. There's so many other, pastures that look so much greener. And I'm sure that it is better, more profitable, easier in all of these other business models. I think I may have chosen the wrong one, or this is not right for me. If you ever felt yourself feeling that, then today is going to help you. So what are we going to be focusing on today? I'm going to take you back about 150 years, okay? I'm going to take you back to a really inspirational speech that was given over 6,000 times, called Acres of Diamonds. I'm going to talk you back to that speech and tell you why that speech was delivered over 6,000 times and what was the goal. And then I'm going to share with you some of the stories that were in that speech and how they really revolutionized the approach that people took to business back then. And then we're going to skip forward to now and sharing those lessons from the speech, The Acres of Diamonds. I'm going to be sharing with you 8 steps for you to take to be able to take those lessons of really solid business advice and to apply them now to your business in building a business online, especially if you are in a business where you help people create transformation. And by that I mean you could be a coach, consultant, you could be a service provider. So basically you take people from point A to point B, you help them change, to transform, to achieve. So I'm going to get those 8 steps specifically to help you with your online business. So let's get started. So first of all, what is this Acres of Diamonds? Well, it was a speech given over 6,000 times by a man called Russell Conwell. If you see me squinting, it's because I'm looking at my notes behind here. Now, he was born in 1843, but died in about 1925. So we're going back a long time here. Now, the reason he gave this speech over 6,000 times, and the same speech, he just refined it to give examples to the local towns that he was going to, is because he was on a mission to raise money to start a university called Temple University, and which ended up becoming very, very successful. He raised over $7 million delivering this speech, specifically to found and fund that university. So it was so well received that he was able to raise all this money through that, because people had heard about the impact of this speech, and then would be sharing it and to be coming along. Now, you can get to watch the speech yourself. You can get to read the whole speech now. He's produced it as a book, and it's so old now that it is beyond copyright. So I've got a link here for you on the page here. If you're listening to this on the podcast, just come over to romanceyourtribe.com and find the episode there. You'll be able to see the links there where you are on your podcast player, and you can download straight away. There's no opt-ins or anything. You can just get the book. It's very short, but really quite entertaining actually, to be able to read. So, but I'm going to give it to you in short, the lessons. And why am I sharing that with you now? Surely this is way too old. So this is the story, and then we'll talk about what is, it's a parable. So then I'll talk to you about, what is the meaning behind this? What is the lesson? And then we'll go into how do you actually apply that in your business. So the Acres of Diamond is a really beautiful concept to have. It is all about, really, you could be sitting on acres of diamonds yourself now. and yet you're looking elsewhere. So this is how the story goes. The author is traveling, and he hears this parable from the I think it's he's in the Egyptian. It's an Arabic parable. Now the story goes that there was a man who was already very wealthy and very contented, and I love the way that the author says that he was contented because he was wealthy, but he was wealthy because he was contented. That itself, I think, is a really beautiful phrase and a really nice message to keep. Now, the thing was, this man had a beautiful family, and he had acres and acres and acres of land that he grew crops on. Then one day, he was visited by a traveling monk, and the monk told him all about the diamonds and these amazing wealth that was found from these diamonds. And the way to find the diamonds, you would find a river, and there you would find, the diamonds that would be in there. And if you could find those, the wealth was amazing. So then, overnight, the very wealthy, contented man became uncontented and poor because he now wanted that wealth. So what he did, he sold up all of his land, took that money, and he went traveling for everywhere on the search for the right river that would have the right stones for him to find his diamonds. Eventually, he used up all of his money, and in despair, he threw himself into the floods and died. So that's just chapter 1 of the parable, the first part. The next part is the same traveling monk came to visit the man, because in the author's world there were only men that did anything significant. We're talking back a long time ago here. We all know it's different now. So the monk came to visit the man who had bought this original land from the wealthy and contented man who became discontented and poor. And when he walked in, he noticed sitting on the mantelpiece was this really big stone that was all black and like a rough stone. And he said, "You've got a diamond." The farmer then said, No, this is just a big stone that I found, just when I was digging the land. And I thought it was really, really interesting. It's just this big black stone. It's not a diamond. So I just put it up there and forgot about it. He said, "No, that is a diamond." As it turned out, the farmer who had bought the land, when they knew that this is what a rough diamond looks like, discovered that all over that land were diamonds. And it went on to become one of the richest diamond mines in Africa. So the parable here is, the meaning is, so many times you can be looking elsewhere for the riches, where in fact you can very well be standing on an acre of diamonds. So what does that acre of diamonds mean for you when it comes to you building your business online? So now we'll have a look at those lessons that you can be using to apply. So it all comes down to, you very likely have everything that you already need to be able to create a very successful business in your own skills, in your own friendships and relationships, and very possibly in your own local area. And of course, now in the days of the internet, it can be within your own community and tribe that you find online. That very often you have exactly what you need here. So let's have a look at how do you build on that, and the lessons that he gives from telling from that story. And one of the big ones was, first of all, explore. What is it that are your own skills? So the first one is you need to be able to recognize your own transformational journey. What is it that is unique to you, that you have as your own asset, your own story, your own skills, your own unique way of helping your clients to get from point A to point B, to help them on their journey? Really get to know what is it that you have already. Because I can tell you now without fail, from working with thousands of people. I'm working closely with hundreds. The very first step that I do with people is what I call the profit in you. And without fail, people will go from, you know what, there's just so much competition here that, you know, how do I stand out? There's other people who are doing so well. As soon as we do the profit in you strategies, that's when we discover that, you know what, there is your unique story, something that is uniquely you, your experiences, your way, your approach, that is so different to other people, that people really relate to. So that's number one. Take the time to work through a process to really get to know what are your skills, what is your story, what are the assets that you bring to your unique business. Now, to help you, I've got a free gift for you. It's a training video and a short workbook with some questions to ask yourself to help you to start exploring and identify the profit in you. So I've got the links down there for you. And you can also go to romanceyourtribe.com/PIY for profit in you. So have a look there, and that's a freebie for you. So that can get you started. Okay, so that's number one. So what is the second thing to do? And this was a big one when he then, with the speech that he then traveled around and delivered over 6,000 times, is, you know what, is it talked about that too many times people do not see the opportunities that are available because they're treating their profession as amateurs. And this is where it makes the big difference. If you're going to be building a business in a particular niche or around your skills, about the transformation you can create for people, don't get lazy. Don't get lazy and think, well, I studied that once, or I've done that once, I know it all. You know, I've got enough there to keep on with, you know, to be able to help people. Really treat your profession as an ongoing study to develop expertise, so that you develop a true expertise. You're treating it as a true profession. And it means that when opportunities do come up, you are prepared because you've done the work. You know how to recognize a rough diamond because you have immersed yourself in studying your industry and studying your expertise. So that is the next one. If you're not spending the time on really researching your market, really getting to know what is happening, what are the trends, well, take the time to do that, okay? So make yourself a schedule so that, you know what, a certain amount of time per week I'm going to dedicate to keeping up to date. So you might be thinking that all the mailing lists that you are on are a waste of time. Filter it down to make sure the ones that are going to make it so that you stay up to date in your profession are the ones that you actually take the time to read, okay? So the next thing that we've got is, number 3, is listen to your market. Take the time to really talk to clients, to listen to do surveys, to really hear from your most profitable avatars, the people who are your ideal clients. What are they asking for? Because this is how you get to recognize the opportunities, to recognize the gaps in the market, and to really respond to what people want. You need to be listening. These are your acres of diamonds here. For you to be able to see those local opportunities, you need to listen. And to listen, you know, you have to have those conversations. You need to talk to people, whether that is in person, whether that is by watching other forums and actually paying attention to what people are saying through social media, and also through your own surveys. Now, that's one thing that we have a whole module on in my Attract Your Tribe program. If you'd like to know more about that, there'll be links down below. And we go into some really unique exercises to specifically the profitable avatar quadrant to really get you clear on that. Now, number 4 is, as well as really being very aware of what assets you bring, your strengths, and really getting to know your market and what are the opportunities, what are they asking for, you also need to be aware about what else is happening in the industry. Who is doing what? So this is not a matter of being obsessed with your competitors because you're comparing yourself. What you're looking for is, oh, that's a good idea. I can take that idea. Or, I can see nobody is actually doing this particular thing. Here could be an opportunity. Unless you're actually, if you're working in isolation in a little bubble all the time, it's very difficult to see those opportunities. So look around. And again, we have a whole module on that in the Attract Your Tribe program, where we actually have very systematically approach that before really working out the packages that we do. So that's something that you can be doing. Now, I'm just looking again at my notes to make sure that I don't do anything, that I don't miss anything. Now, this is a really big one, and this was one of the core lessons that came from the Acres of Diamond, is stick with one thing and do it really, really well. One of the big things that I've learned in the last year or so from really investing a lot in masterminding with people who are exceptionally successful in business is that I thought that I was pretty persistent before, but I came to recognize that really the people who truly get success not only are the ones who make it over the finish line, but their knuckles are bleeding when they get there, is because, a lot of people just give up way too soon. They go, that didn't work, or this didn't work. But did they really give it their 100% best to see, did that strategy work? So when it comes to you doing your list building, doing your launches, all of those sorts of things, don't give up too early, okay? As an example, one of my best-selling programs, my video marketing program, when I first launched it online, you know how many I sold? 0. Talk about depressing. I had a lot of people who weren't necessarily my friends and my peers that I was masterminding with, but outside going, well, oh, it's not a good product. It's not going to work. Take it off the market. Don't even bother. Whereas when I spoke to my friends who were very successful in business, it was, okay, well, what lessons did you learn? Let's tweak. And now that has gone on to becoming one of my best-selling programs, and it helps the most people. It really helps a lot of people. So if I had just given up, you know what? That wouldn't have existed. There wouldn't be all these people confident using video and building their businesses based on video. So that's just one example. So don't give up. But if you're not going to be giving it up, if you're going to stick with one thing, you've got to keep it simple. Don't complicate things too much. Just keep it simple. And that's why one of the things that I like to teach in my programs is the nested business model, about how can we just keep things here really super simple. So that's one thing that you can do. Have a simple business model and stick with it. And don't just give in when something doesn't work. That was just a practice run, okay? You now can take those lessons and see what you can do before you give up and move on to that next shiny object. Now, we're up to number 6, and this is one of my favorite ones, is in business, in fact with everything, but especially in business, and especially so with online because it makes it so much more possible, is one of your greatest gifts, one of your acres of diamonds, is your relationships. Now, some people will go, it's your network or it's your joint venture partners. For me, I just think it's my friends, okay? These are people who you have so much in common with that your businesses align, that you talk about different things that are aligned in business. These are friends. These are relationships that you have. So look at those when you are building your business. What network of friends, relationships have you got where you can be helping each other to reach more people, to have more of an impact? So that is one of your greatest assets that you've got, and a lot of people discount them. And a big thing is a lot of people will say no for other people. They don't even ask them. They don't even talk to them. They just assume that they will be rejected. But instead of seeing this as a network, this is your relationships. These are friendships. And so business is built on that. So that is one of those beautiful assets you've got. That is that beautiful acre that you've got. Don't take it for granted, or don't devalue it and think, oh, actually, they're not really my assets. That's not really a strength that I've got. Because you'll be surprised when you put yourself out there how many people want to help you and how many people you can help in very, very simple ways. And in fact, joint ventures is one of my things I'm really so passionate about. It's been one of the ways that I've grown my business in the biggest way and given me the most pleasure. And that's a core part about everything I do with everybody, whether I'm working with my VIP clients or whether I'm doing in my Attract Your Tribe program. joint ventures and relationships are absolutely core to that. Now, let's look at the next one. Oh, and there's a beautiful story. I've shared a video for you on the webpage that goes with this podcast from Earl Nightingale, really another old fella, really great story where he's talking about the acres of diamond. And what I really quite liked was he told a story about limiting yourself. Because one of the things that's in the Acres of Diamonds book, which was the speech, was talking about people limiting yourself. You allow your surroundings to limit you. So that means that you're not actually seeing what is possible actually here. And Earl Nightingale gave a beautiful story. You can see it in the video where he talks about the farmer who put a pumpkin that was growing into a glass bottle. And it grew and it grew and it grew and it grew into the shape of this glass bottle until it couldn't grow anymore. And so the farmer smashed the bottle and then cut the pumpkin. And so he had a small pumpkin in the shape of the bottle. Whereas we would know that a pumpkin can grow huge. But it was being limited by its surroundings. I really liked the imagery of that story, so maybe that can help you too. So are you limiting your possibilities? Are you not seeing what you are possible of and what your business is possible of because you're holding yourself in that little bottle? So that's my challenge to you. And the last one is, we talked about how very often people don't stick with one thing and they will go because they can see that there are greener pastures over there. So I want to leave you with this thought, is you may very well be somebody else's green pasture. Other people may be looking at you, looking at your business, looking at your potential business, looking at your niche, your market, and they will be thinking, that looks so much better over there. So please be aware that you will, without fail, for somebody else, you are their greener pasture. So if you are their greener pasture, let's make the most of this opportunity, of these acres of beautiful, beautiful green pasture. So if they could be in your position and they can imagine what is possible, how about you just imagine what is possible for you? So I've got a few resources for you. I've mentioned that I have the Profit in You, the training, the free training video and workbook for you. And that's totally free. That's my gift for you. So if you go to romanceyourtribe.com/PIY, which is Profit in You, and you will, and I've also got the links here if you're on the web page. So that's a gift there to help you to get started. You can also inquire about the Attract Your Tribe program. It's a training program that goes you step by step by step to really be able to build a business on your acres of diamond. So you can find out more about that. I've also got for you the book, which was based on that lecture. So the Acres of Diamond, you've got that there. It's royalty free now, so you can just click there and you can read that online. And I've also got for you a video there of Earl Nightingale and his lessons based on the Acres of Diamond. So I'd love to hear from you. Does this story resonate with you? Have you found yourself that you may be not sticking with what you're doing in your own business, or devaluing what you're in your own business because something else looks so much better? And I'd love to hear stories from you if you've stuck with it. And those times when you thought, nah, I'm going to give it up, I'm going to sell this acreage and I'm going to move on to something else. But you stuck with it, and did it work for you? What success did you have when you did persist and start looking at things differently? I'd really love to hear from you as well. So please leave your comments down below. I'd love to hear from you, or drop me an email, or anyway, please share this post with anybody that you can, especially if there's somebody that you know that sometimes may be feeling as if they're not necessarily in the right place, and they're devaluing the wonderful assets that they are already bringing to their business. So thank you for being able to pass on the word. I really appreciate that. But join the conversation and share down below. I'd love to hear from you. Okay, bye.